Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forged Lines Forever. Today, I have a 6v6 custom match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, ending with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1's Northeastern player and working our way clockwise around the map, we have in Royal Blue, the Lich King as a Cybran as an 1100. And to his southwest in Gold in the Dark Green is Spanking Giraffe. He is a Seraphim and he is a 1200. To his southwest in Tropical Ocean Blue is OGWPR Outreach. I'm going to call him Outreach for short. He is an Aeon for this game and he is a 1400. In Lattice Red Pink to his southwest, kind of on his own little island, here we have Dulaha. He is a Seraphim and he is a 1300. To his north, we have in Chevy Crimson in the rearguard air slot of Will-O-Wisp. He is a Seraphim as a 2000 rated player, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. And to his east, the other red player on Team 1 in Ruby Red is Kefka. He is an Aeon and he is a 1400. So for Team 1's side of the map, they have 3 Seraphim, 2 Aeon, 1 Cybran, and no UEF for their side of the map. Starting off with Team 2's northern player, working way clockwise around their lineup as well. In Rust, we have Yispal. I think Isbal? Maybe the Y's and I. He is a Cybran and he is a 1000 rated. To his south, we have in Emerald Green Sailor Moon as the one and only UEF of the game. He is a 1500. And to his south, more south, we have in Regal Purple Moi as a Cybran. He is an 1800, the highest rated player on Team 2, and he is a Cybran again in the rearguard air slot. And all the way to his west, we have it in Imperial Gray Salty Pepper. He is a Seraphim and he is a 1400. In orange, color orange to his northeast, we have Winter. He is an Aeon and he is a 1500. And last but not least, for Team 2, the other gray player on Team 2 is Active Backlash as a Cybran in Batman Gray as a 1300. So for Team 2's side of the map, they have one of each of the factions and then 3 Cybrans. So again, 1 Seraphim, 1 Aeon, 1 UEF, and 3 Cybrans for Team 2. And as a reminder, Team 1 lacks UEF technology. And for 12 players on the map, let's take a look at how much reclaim they have to scoop up. Currently sitting at only about 8,000 mass, which, again, is a little bit less than I would like to see, but it's about 600, 700 mass or so. Trying to do math in my head really quickly. I think it's about 600, 700, something like that. And besides that, taking a look at the mass points on the map for Team 2's side, they have an entire island. Say it's what, 7 mechs. Looks like it's going to go to Mui. Maybe he'll share it with somebody else, but maybe it'll go all to him. We do see in the northeastern corner of the map a large grouping of mechs as well that will be fought over between at least the Lich King and at least somebody else on Team 2. And then a Trimex position here, all for Salty Pepper to take. And in the middle of the map, there's a nice little dual mechs here. And a couple other grouping of mechs along the middle of the map here. But as evidenced by the fact that it's mostly water, we will see a lot of Navy in this map. But, of course, we cannot forget that there's going to be hover tech. There's going to be, of course, air. And, of course, as always, the lovely, lovely everything else that this game has to offer, whether it be artillery, whether it be nukes, whether it be infinite resources, or super nukes, whatever the case may be. I don't know who wins or not. I just know that the match is perfectly fine. No issues with it. So let's go ahead and see what our players are going to get up to in this game. It looks like 2 players from Team 2 already headed to the middle of the map here. Transports with engineers outbound from Iceball. Maybe it's Iceball, maybe. And he's going for this interesting little segment of territory here. I think Lich King can just walk up that. I don't know if that little lip there will prevent him. I think it might. We'll just have to check on that for a brief second to see if he actually does make it around it. I think it does, given the fact that the game... Oh, nope. The game is not letting him do that. Very unfortunate. So he's going to have to turn around and find another way up there, which it looks like he's not going to have to go this way. And then looks like maybe... No, he can't inch his way around that as well. So there is no way to get to this northeastern corner of the map unless he has a transport. Definitely unfortunate for Lich King. He really wanted that 6 mechs grouping, but unfortunately he won't get that. At least he'll have to send transporter units in Otherwise, in the southwest, expansionary efforts by Team 1's naval player of Doulaha moving in and grabbing a decent amount of the mechs in the middle and also trying to deny some of those mechs grabbings for Team 2. There's also some torpedo boats outbound from OGW going for the, of course, under-the-water structures that, of course, can be constructed from a patch a while ago. I was grateful that they added the mass storages as well. They can be built underwater so you can get the full benefit of the mechs. I mean, building the mechs alone is nice, but getting that, single ringed is better than nothing kind of thing. We do see the comm of Active Backlash going after the middle here. Spanky Draft pushing down that middle causeway as well. That's the only avenue for land for pretty much the entire map to go from one side to the other. There's no real connection point anywhere else on the map, so lots of transports and lots of air are going to be the focus for getting units across the seas. In the northeast, we do see a couple of drops outbound now from Team 2 Sailor Moon grabbing this upper plateau and is going to deny any sort of expansionary efforts possibly by Kefka, who's moving in there. But we do see that Lich King has moved in and has now grabbed this dual mechs position over here, trying to just deny at least something on Team 2's side of the map. Definitely was annoyed that he couldn't just walk through the middle there. And I think that was, I mean, this is a auto-generated map, so the map generator was like, nope, you can't walk units back and forth. That is not allowed in this game, or at least this match specifically. We do see transports with engineers running around the map trying to, again, throw whatever they can at spamming out units. We do see a couple of mechs over here and a nice little facility, very front line, just to get some more units on the field sooner rather than later. We don't see a lot of emphasis from Team 2 to go for Navy, and with a map like this where water is at least 50%, not having Navy is going to be crushing for Team 2 if they cannot get that under control. We do see that Kefka might try to go for a distance build here, but he's building a nice little AA to protect himself, but that's not going to help against the artillery that's firing at him from on that upper plateau. So he has to be very careful with how long he sits here. He's not really going to get anywhere, unfortunately, in that position, and it does look like Kefka is actually being forced out of the northeastern corner as well by the artillery outbound from Iceball. So again, Team 2 using a lot of Team 1 mobile artillery to deal with Team 1's forces. Gun range has been started for Winter in the middle. He'll mostly go for speed next. Active Backlash is in the water, which makes me think he might go for Torpedo because he is a Cybern and they have that upgrade. They can build Iceball not in the water, but he might go for Torpedo as well. And Lich King, also Cybern, could also go for Torpedo. So lots of potential for those Torpedo upgraded commanders. But nobody has started that upgrade, at least as of yet, that I have noticed. Besides that, there's not really a lot of action happening. The Torpedo upgrade does start. We do see that operations to land on the other side of the map have occurred for Team 1's Doulaha, getting a nice little land facility to incur, as well as a couple of support frigates. They're trying to slow down the expansionary efforts of Salty Pepper in the water game. No one has started the T2 upgrade phase, at least as of yet, that I have noticed. I guess it's a little bit early for that, at least in the naval tech department. Gun speed has been started for Kefka. I don't know if that's going to help him too much, just because he is facing a decent cliff that he has to fire over, and that's not really going to get him anywhere. And those artillery are still going to hold position and really deny any sort of expansionary efforts for him. And Team 2 has now claimed essentially the northeastern corner of the map here. We do see that the Lich King is prepping up for possibly an upgrade with those engineers coming in to assist and units gearing up to protect him. Iceball is going to fall back, and that Torpedo upgrade is progressing quite nicely here for Active Backlash in the water. 1 minute for Backlash, says Mui, and then it looks like he's unpaused it, so there was some sort of probably answering of the door. Dog had to go outside or something. But we do see more Zui being landed and built here by Team 1's Doulaha, trying to distract the naval player of Salty Pepper for trying to, again, get into the water game, and he's really struggling here. He's going for T2, which if he gets a destroyer or two online, that will deal with these Team 1 artilleries quite nicely. He's getting some bombers online as well, but there are some interceptors trying to deal with any sort of harassment from the air department. One Zui is taken out, and that T2 facility is about to finish. He has some subs to protect himself, but that's not going to help against hover tech. We can see more and more units being added to this fight on the southern edge of the map here. Team 1 desperately wants to knock out at least one player in the Navy game in the main water sea, lake, pond thingamajig, southwestern section of the map. Besides that, again, efforts to go for T3 air has been completed by Will-O-Wisp, and it looks like T2 at least is online for Kefka. We do see T3 air not online as of yet, but it is online here for Mui. So again, one going for torpedo bombers, one going for T3 air. And in the 6v6, especially with these two players pretty much isolated from the front lines, definitely is the trend to go for that. You know, just a lot of torpedo bombers and then one for T3 air. And then that way, at least that player who did go for T2 can easily transition to T3 quite nicely. Torpedo upgrade paying a little bit of dividends here, going after these destroyers. It's going to be a little bit of mass for Team 2 to scoop up, but there are more frigates and subs being added to the mix here. Still at Lich King, not going for upgrades. And Torpedo is being built by Iceball on land because there are subs nearby that will try to blitz him down. T2 Naval Facility is online and cooking and building that destroyer, and with that, it will probably deal with this incursion by Dullaha. But it was a nice distraction will allow him to get his own T2 Navy online. And Keffa is defeated by Sailor Moon. Looks like he transported up there and then just got destroyed. Actually, possibly got destroyed on the way in by a transport. Looks like there's a transport down here. And there's an AA PD right there. So it looks like, just based on the location and how far up in the air it was, targeting the wrong things. Well, maybe not. Maybe he was on the ground. But with that, Team 1 loses the first player of the game and is now a 5v6 in favor of Team 2. And it looks like the airplay of Willow will inherit the base of Kefka. So definitely fitting him. He's already air and he inherits essentially another air base. He's going for T3 upgrade as of yet. And of course those T2 subs, not subs, but those pseudo subs from the Seraphim variety getting some action against those subs from Team 1. And another transport with a decent amount of Zui is on board. It's going for that T2 naval headquarters, and it's probably going to take it out, unfortunately, for Team 2's Salty Pepper. And it is going to drop. That's going to hurt. Once the transport drops off, it's going to immediately just blitz down that facility. The engineers are going to go down. Hit points are just being eradicated. Zui trying to move. Salty Pepper trying to reclaim them to try to deal with that DPS, but I don't think it's going to be fast enough, unfortunately. And that facility is going to go down, trying to repair it as best he can, but he will lose his T2 naval headquarters. Very, very unfortunate here. He's just being bullied by Dullaha constantly throughout this game, and he just cannot catch a break. He did catch a little bit of a break and then just got eradicated, though, unfortunately for him. T2 is also online, but in the water over here to the northeast, Iceball with the torpedo upgrade killed. Actually, looks like Lich King actually control Ks, maybe because he was dying, maybe not, but I think I don't really know what. Most likely it was due to the fact that he was going to die anyway, so he decided to just control K. So now Team 1's Will-O-Wisp has 3 bases at his disposal. Maybe we'll gift over one to Spanking Giraffe, but maybe we'll just keep it for that extra eco. He's sitting at 300 mass per second, and that is not going to go good here for Team 2 overall. Having one player having that much eco this soon in the game, it might be devastating. We'll just have to see how the game does progress, because there are some instances where it doesn't work, and some instances that it does work. So we'll just have to see. Problem, says Mui. I don't get what he's getting at. There's nothing here. I will never win air to be. Oh, by the way, he has too much ego. Okay, he's talking about the fact that his opponent has 3 bases. And that, in that degree, yes, him alone will not be able to win air. But if his teammate of Sailor Moon comes into the picture and gets to T3, which he is currently, that might be enough. Fight over AA. Do you wish to push the enemy out of the water, says OGW to Dullaha, which is probably the case here, because if Team 1 is able to take the entire southwestern pond, they can take out this and this facility, essentially locking Team 2 onto the eastern edge of the map and destroy factories. Yeah, essentially that's what's going on. That is their goal. Team 2's assisting player in the water here for Salty Pepper is Winter, and he's really pushing in with all of these Team 1 subs, Team 1 frigates, and also getting some destroyers and cruisers online that will definitely assist with dealing with Team 1's torpedo bombers, as well as trying to just knock out some of the air advantage that Team 1 will have as the game progresses, with 3 facilities on lock for Willow. T2 Navy also online, going for T3 for Spanking Giraffe, so trying to get for those battleships sooner rather than later. Team 1 does have a slight disadvantage, though, not having UEF tech, because, of course, the Neptune exists, and it is the best T3 naval unit in the game. And nobody in the game has gone for any sort of UEF naval tech. Very unfortunate here. Sailor Moon is the one that has Navy. We do see Navy, excuse me. He is going for T2. Maybe we'll see T3. Looks like he's producing those destroyers or cruisers. Those are destroyers, so he's producing them first and then going to go for cruisers next. I feel like they need to produce a little bit more cruisers just to try to eliminate air from Team 1. We do see some destroyers coming into the mix here, trying to bombard this upper plateau position for Team 2. It is going to slowly eat away at all of that eco, but being that close to the cliff doesn't really do anything, unfortunately for them. Winter just built a wall section and decided, nah, it's good enough. He's going to hang out and try to do his best to hold the line. Couple of units try to go around the wall section, but Winter is having none of it. No illegal border crossings here for outreach. And the fleet's starting to get bigger and bigger in the southwestern pond here for both teams. Mainly it's the force outbound from Winter, but we do see that outbound from Doolittle really just trying to knock out Salty Pepper from any sort of naval engagement. We do see all of his units going after the T2 naval headquarters once again, so this is the second one he's built. But now all of these forces here from Doolittle will provide a little bit of reclaim here for Salty Pepper, and the facility is not even knocked out as well, which means it's going to provide a huge bonus to having more units on the field, or in the water, I should say, versus Team 1. But Team 1 is pumping out units as well. Lots of spam facilities, T2 as well for both of these players. We do see that T3 is not under construction as of yet, but the T3 is in the northeastern pond here for Team 1 Spanking Giraffe. He's going for, looks like he's going for destroyers. No, those are cruisers, I think. He's going for cruisers first. We do see he's pushing with a couple of destroyers as well against the Salems and Sirens, which he just took out. No T3 as of yet here for Team 2's Eastern players in the water, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that probably in a couple of minutes, most likely. T3 Air also online here for Sailor Moon. And again, they're trying to fight Will-O-Wisp, who's now at 500 mass income. But Team 2 overall starting to pull away in the eco department. It's definitely back and forth depending on power-related issues or reclaim-related issues, depending on, at the current moment, what I'm looking at. But looks like maybe Team 1 is pulling away, so maybe they have the power issues. We do see frontline facilities being established for reclaim efforts, and Team 2's fleet pushing into Team 1's and starting to not go good for the overall engagement here for Team 1. But again, Navy is one of those really weird things where it's really hard to secure territory unless you just have a ton of units. Unlike land, where you can constantly build shields and artillery and PD and facilities, you can pretty much only build facilities and mexes. That's really about it. It's really hard to hold territory unless you just have a ton of units. We do see cruisers are now online for Spanking Giraffe, and it's already killed off 17,000 mass, 5-star veterancy on board that cruiser, going after all of the mexes here, essentially knocking out Team 2's eco in that regard. Team 2 is starting to fall behind in the mass generation game at about 50 mass deficit of Team 1, roughly. RAS has been started for Sailor Moon, trying to expedite his eco ventures, as well as, of course, expanding the air grid here for Mui. For Willow, though, again, he's sitting on 3 bases, so his eco can skyrocket very quickly, getting T2 mexes fully ringed, getting 3 T3 mexes online as well. And no T3 as of yet for the southern players in the Navy for Team 1, but in Team 2, do we see T3? No. That may be the straw that breaks the camel's back in either regard. If one team gets T3 online sooner and keeps it online, that is the key thing, because getting T3 is nice, but if you only have it for a minute, it doesn't really do a whole lot versus having it for 20 minutes. If Team 2 or Team 1 is able to get that online first, it might make the difference in the naval engagement overall. We do see another group of some Zooey moving in to deal with, of course, the T2 naval headquarters. Once again, will it drop? It might. It looks like it will actually drop. We do see, of course, some bombers moving in to deal with all of these Zooey moving in, but a nice missile takes out at least a third of those units, or a quarter of them. More bombers inbound. Units trying to spread out and avoid the bombs, but unfortunately, most of them have already been destroyed. One T2 Mex is taken offline. The second one might be gone here very shortly. More bombers being thrown at this. Is it going to be enough to save that other T2 mechs? We'll just have to see. Zui being macroed very well to avoid the incoming bombers. But 2 T2 mechs is taken offline. A third one might be gone as well. Definitely unfortunate here for Salty Pepper, but he's just been really being bullied here by Dulaha, constantly being bombarded by Zui. We do see that, of course, the forward momentum is in favor of Team 2, and a lot of that is due to Winter coming in and really just punching through with his navy. A couple of destroyers on the shoreline going after T2 mechs for Dulaha, so he's paying back his opponent in kind. Instead of using Zui, he's using his destroyers. T2 still not, no, T3 still not online here for anybody on Team 2, but another T2 facility over here for Iceball. So pretty much everybody except for the air player of Mui is in the naval department in one degree or the other. T2 air facility also online for Winter, so he has his own source of bombers. Love to see that from naval players so they can provide their own defense or own attack in terms of that regard, depending on their situation. No T3 as of yet. Kind of surprised in these two players not going for T3. And there is a nice little Yasau online here. The best well, it's the best sub in the game besides Atlantis. But they are the only T3 sub hunters in the game, so it kind of defaulted the best T3 sub as the only T3 sub. But a nice grouping of units over here for Mui, just holding position, not pushing in, just wants to, you know, just kind of hold the territory that he's gained. Probably wants to get some engineers to scoop up the reclaim that's underneath him. But it looks like he is going to start pushing them in just a tiny smidge. T3 air facility also online for Iceball. So we have 3 players on Team 2 that have T3 air and 1 at T2. Is anybody else in the air department for Team 1? Yes. Dulaha does have T2. And I think that's it. But of course, T3 Navy is also online, and he has a battleship and a command class aircraft carrier. And this is going to be devastating for these corner mechs here for Team 2. It's going to just completely get ripped apart. And of course, with sub-hunters over here to the west, I feel like Team 1's time in the Navy for the northeastern section is kind of coming to a close here pretty shortly. 23 minutes on the clock. Again, let's take a look at the game overall. Team 1 at 1.2K, Team 2 at 1.1. Team 2 has all of their players remaining, and Team 1 has lost 2 of them, that being Kefka and the Lich King being killed off, or Lich King, Control King, and Kefka being killed off. But let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. Of course, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching to this point in the video. And of course, let me know down in the comments who you think is going to earn that MVP slot or that award for this match. And of course, share this video with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. We do see in the Southwestern Navy slowly creeping in once again here for Team 2. And in the northeast, torpedo bombers going after the Salem destroyers will rip one of those apart. But they're now, of course, the battleships being brought forward and the AA on board the command class is going to be enough to deal with most of these bombers. It will slow the approach ever so slightly for Team 1, but there's not really a lot of firepower here that Team 2 can bring to bear to deal with this. And with, of course, Team 1's Mui also having air to the degree that he does, it's really going to deter any sort of forward momentum for Team 2 to push back. And as more forces from Backlash move in to intercept, we do see that those outbound from Spanking Draft push in, going after active Backlash's commander with all those cruisers, keeping him on his toes, quite literally. T3 is online, and he's going for a Summit class battleship. It needs to be built sooner rather than later here for Sailor Moon, because more and more of those battleships and other T3 units are going to be brought to bear by Mui, and he's just, not Mui, sorry, for Will-O-Wisp, he's just mass spamming out battleships at this point. He does not have access to the Neptune class like Team 2 does, but he's not even going for that for Sailor Moon. Which, again, in this degree probably would be better because there's just so many units that he has to deal with. I do like the flanking maneuver, but it's not going to do a lot of damage, unfortunately, because this is going to be ripped apart with the superior number of forces. And we do see that Team 2's Air Force is just holding position, waiting to engage that of Will-O-Wisp. Laser has been started for Mui as well. I keep confusing the two players over there. And we might see a teleporter here pretty shortly. He might be going for the air grids just to slow down Team 1's roll. A couple of SMDs also online to protect those investments. No sneaky little nukes or missile subs, or sub nukes, I should say, from Team 2 in this game. T2 Barracuda is trying to deal with all of the Salems and battleships. There's a decent amount of torp defense on board the Salems, but nothing on board those Galaxy-class battleships, which just means slowly but surely they'll be ripped apart. But of course, the battleships also have torpedoes on board them as well. And the teleporter has been started, so he is going to go for Telemazer. You guys need to push hard bottom before top is lost. He is right, though. If top is completely destroyed and units from Team 1 get into essentially where Mui is hanging out, everything besides Salty Pepper is going to be wiped out by Navy. So Team 2 needs to win this fight to really have any sort of feet or legs or boats or whatever in this game long term. We do see some Yasaus online here for Salty Pepper, so he has T3. Navy online. Does Team 1 have T3? No, but one is being produced or being constructed or upgraded as we speak. We have a couple of battleships trying to rip apart Team 1's front line, but there's only one battleship here for Team 2, and now the forces outbound from Spanking Giraffe move in. There's only so much that Sailor Moon can do on his own. He needs more facilities. Everybody on Team 2 needs more facilities. Same with Team 1. Everybody just needs more facilities, more mass, more everything. Wilbur needs to come and just give everybody some gifts in that regard. But the teleporter is almost done, and the question is he going to use it now or later? He has access to it. He can use it whenever he wants. The question is, does he send it in immediately? There's no no tele defense here for Willow anywhere, so it could be a perfect opportunity to go for it. It's just, I think it's deciding on, does he use it or not? Does he wait to use it? Does he hold it back? Whatever the case may be. But we see, of course, all of those missile-capable cruisers just pumping damage into that Summit class. There are some TMD on board the cruisers nearby, but I don't think it's going to do that much damage. Bombers are inbound going after those cruisers, but not really a lot of damage is going to be done. Looks like they're targeting the Yasaus, not the cruisers, very interestingly. ASFs are just waiting to engage here from Willow. The ASFs from Team 2 have fallen back. Still no engagement for that teleportation of the comm. And you can just see the map control here for Team 1 just multiplying here. Almost cut the entire northern section under their control. Essentially cut Team 2 off from any sort of access to their northeastern upper plateaus area. And we also see a I look, his feet are tucked in. I didn't notice that. Is that a new thing? I feel like the feet used to hang, but now they get tucked in for that transport. I wonder if that's a new thing. Anyway, more and more battleships being thrown on the front line here for Will-O-Wisp. I feel like Mui, the time is now to use it. The longer he waits, the worse it's going to get. T3 also online here for Winter. He has some Omens now online. And the land engagement going very well here for OGW, just pushing directly through that wall section. T3 Navy is online for active backlash, but it's not going to mean a whole lot with Yasaus and cruisers bearing down his neck. We do see another Summit class battleship is online. It's it's 2v3, but that one's almost destroyed. We see an Atlantis being built that's almost half done. Team 2 desperately needs that online to really stay in this game in terms of the naval department in the northeast. More and more Omens being built, and now those fervors are in the main base here for Team 2's Winter. He's losing Pigeons. He's losing engineers. He does have speed on board to really reduce those hit points to ash for those, not Zooey, for those fervors. T3 has been started for Doulaha, and T3 almost done for Outreach over here in this southern pond. And of course the battleships are better or more in number for Team 2. So if they have the advantage, now is the time to press it. The Atlantis is almost done. It's in the green. It's 75% completed and then some. And more summits being built very, very quickly, I might add, by Team 2's Sailor. He's putting everything he has into it. Oh, and looks like Mui has teleported in. Is he going after the commander? Looks like Teledefense is coming online. And Willow's just going for YOLO, because why not? Does Team 2 know about this? They do if they hover over it. Especially with that spy plane moving in. They'll see it. Oh, yeah, he definitely saw that amount of PD being built. But is it going to be enough is the question, though. He does have the laser, and he'll pop out in range. And Willow is moving. Does Willow see him? Willow does see him. So he might be producing some torpedo bombers to counteract the teleportated commander of Mui. And Mui is in the red, though. He pops out and just immediately gets blasted. There's no hope of getting onto land to break through those shielding. He's just going to teleport home, but is Willow going to allow him to do so? Like I said, when he built it, that was the time. He waited too long, I believe. And the Eastern Front is collapsing here. Atlantis holding strong, though. Trying to just keep Team 1's Willow at bay. And of course, there's a group of units over here to the west as well. Active Backlash has now fled to land. And Team 2 is slowly pushing back against the Fervor spam. And more T3 units coming along. And Mui is defeated by Willow. It was only a matter of time. It was either he gets out of there or he doesn't. That was kind of there's only two options there. You should not have attacked, says OGW. I don't know what that's in reference to. Let him come to you. Should not push out. He's probably talking to Willow, probably. Most likely that'd be the case, but Fort Bombers being spammed up as well. I'm surprised that this facility is still online. There's a lot of shielding surrounding it, to be fair, but I'm surprised that it's still online. The T3 naval headquarters is gone, but the Atlantis has been built. It's being ground fired by these Galaxy-class battleships, and it's probably going to die because it's not moving. 900 hit points, 600 hit points, 6,000 hit points, excuse me. That battleship does go offline, and Active Backlash is just defeated by Spanking Giraffe. He gets into the water, immediately gets destroyed. Team 2 now sitting at 4 players left versus Team 2's 4 players left. So it's a tied up game here at 32 minutes. Team 2's Navy is pushing in. And is it going to be enough, though? There are now multitudes of Team 1 and T2 units online. Couple of Omens in there, as well as a lot of frigates from his teammate of Salty Pepper. We do see a couple of Yasaus as well. But no real battleships online for him. Looks like he's just producing cruisers, I guess, at the moment. Or destroyers, one or the other. But he's just more and more Omens being thrown onto the pile here for winter. And that Atlantis has been destroyed. Team 2 is losing Navy very quickly here. And now it looks like... not Iceball, excuse me. That Winter has control of Mui's old base. I feel like giving it over to Sailor Moon would be better, just because he's already in air. But he's producing some nice little satellites right now. He's finished his first one. How is that YOLO going for Team 1's Willow? Well, that YOLO is almost in the green, almost 75% completed on that thing. But again, when you get 2 extra bases and you have double or triple the eco as everybody else on your team at the moment, and now he has almost 5 times the eco of, well, he has at least 4 times roughly, but almost 5 times that of anybody else on his team. He is the front runner for Team 1. And, of course, with the battleship spam outbound from him, Team 2 is suffering quite considerably. Looks like that push outbound from Team 2 has been halted. Yasaus continue to push in. And it's just going to be slow workings here. T3 Navy is online. I don't see any T3 unit. Oh, excuse me. The Omen is now done for outreach. He's done a great job of poking and prodding on land, but it is getting less and less dividends. Another Atlantis is online. More of them are being produced, but I think it's, again, just not really getting any results out of it, because once he pushes in, all Willow has to do is ground fire that thing, and it's essentially just wiped out very quickly. Still, resistance from Team 2 is in the northeastern corner. It looks like a PD was built by some engineers and then was destroyed, or at least a group of PD, and that was the only one standing. It's not looking good here for Team 2's eastern side, though the shields are starting to fall. Atlantis is online. Again, it cannot poke its head out of the water, or those Galaxy-class battleships will just eviscerate that thing. Laser has been started by another player on Team 2. Looks like it's Iceball by the looks of it. Another battleship goes offline, and it's just trying to deal with all of the hit points on board the Atlantis, and there it goes. It's gone. Another experimental crushed by Navy. And Team 2 is pushing in once again, but I feel like Team 2 kind of waited too long for that T3 push. We do see more and more Omens being added to the pile, but it's just a matter of fact of how long can Team 1 keep Team 2 at bay. Because of Team 2, even if they break through, they're not going to get that much work done on the northern edge, especially with Willow about to complete the YOLO. I'm going to get more shielding right after that. Looks like he can't. Oh, no, he canceled that. Excuse me. Oh, he built more of them. There he goes. And the T3 air facility still holding strong, but it is going to lose. There's a lot of T2 Gunthers in the mix as well, but I don't think they're going to last very much longer as well with all the forces bearing down on it. Another satellite has been started by Sailor Moon. And more T3 units being thrown together here for Winter. There's the YOLO. And the shields and the shields and the shields and the more shields are going to be built by him to protect that investment. And this game is starting to severely favor Team 1. Team 2 needs a breakthrough. Most likely they're going to get it from the southern side. All the Yassaus focusing on those facilities. T3 should be the main focus to just deny any more T3 units being built by at least one player on Team 1. We do see some counter Zuri spam outbound from Salty Pepper, so he's really getting his revenge for those early harassment moves by Dulaha. We do see bombers moving in, taking out the command class aircraft carrier. Now we have a satellite overhead here for Sailor Moon as well. The facility for Iceball has been reduced to smoldering ashes. And now Iceball is the one going for laser. Nuke is online here for Winter, and it's almost half done loading. Does Team 1, I mean, I know Team 1 has adequate SMD coverage in at least the northern section. This SMD is loaded, so if Team 2 can knock that out, send the nuke in, that might be enough. But the nuke is outbound from Team 1's Willow, and that might be the beginning of the end for Team 2. Where is it going is the question. Team 2 has known about that YOLO for a while, so they should have adequate SMD coverage, and oh, they don't. Ooh, that T3 Naval Headquarters is going to get destroyed once again. That's the third time a Naval Headquarters has been destroyed for Salty Pepper. He's really just suffering this game. No SMD coverage over here as well. Very weird. Looks like this is where the second one's going to go. And then the third one's going to go right here. And here come those battleships lining up. And it's really looking good here for Team 2's air player of Sailor Moon. Those lasers are going to try to hold out as much as they can. But the battleships are just going to rain in. There's a lot of T2 artillery already here, but needs to be a lot more. Those battleships have a lot of HP to chew through. The satellite trying to help out. Actually being a defense satellite. Usually it's an attack satellite. But there goes the YOLO. Kaboom! Does the facility stand? The facility does not. All the engineers go up. And the second nuke is outbound. Where is YOLO, says Winter. And Mori says he has SMD. It is YOLO. And look at all the shielding over here. No amount of artillery will crack that, at least instantaneously. Because why not build more? And gets PD protection as well in the mist. I mean, he was building it before it was constructed, but that's partly due to Mori teleporting in. If you snipe SMD and nuke him, you're the GOAT, says Mori. I mean, that would be a really good move, but of course SMD coverage does exist. There are a couple of them over here, but that nuke is kind of far away from, not super far away, but decently far away. But the naval facilities for OGW and for Dulaha have been destroyed. Team 2 has a Navy on lock on the southern pond, and I don't think the Omens are in range to reach. They are not. Are the cruisers in reach? But there are ASF protecting that SMD. The bombers are inbound. Is it going to be enough? The ASFs are called in. They see them at the last second. Will the bombs even drop? No, they possibly won't. One does drop. Is it going to be enough? Oh, the shielding fails. The SMD does go down. Is the nuke going to land, though? Or launch, I should say. Oh, it's about to load. Nuke done, says Mori. He's like, no, it's about to load. Is this SMD going to be enough? No, it's not. The SMD will not cover that nuke, or the super nuke launcher. Oh, he's got to just fire it immediately. There's no waiting. There is absolutely no waiting with that nuke. You got to fire it. That YOLO is just going to be devastating. It's going after Winter's main base, and he's already put his comm in the water to protect himself. It's not launching. The nuke is not launching. There it goes. There it goes. Nuke is launched. And is it on a direct? Yes, it is. And Willow already knows it. His SMD was built. He's trying to load it as fast as he can. He's actually gotten a decent amount of the way done. But even on a 20 by 20, it does take a little bit for that nuke to land. Oh, sorry. Kaboom. And kaboom. Where is that nuke launching here now for Willow? Strat bombers have moved in. They're not. Oh, I was going to say they're not being targeted, surprisingly. It looks like they're just going to hit the YOLO. But Willow will make it out of there. And how is his SMD? It's half loaded. He's done a great job so far. That nuke has already traversed the halfway mark of the map, though. So it is not going to be saved, unfortunately, for Team 1. But it was a valiant effort, though. He got the YOLO built. He got off a couple of shots. Load, gotta load, gotta load, gotta load, gotta load. That's why you always need backup SMD coverage. And there it goes. It's going to nuke the nuke. And kaboom! Kills all the shielding. Kills the SMD. Kills part of that air grid. And how much mass did that thing kill off? 105,000 mass killed. But of course, Team 2 has been severely diminished in the southern pond. Of course, now we're seeing some Yassaus pushed in with the assistance of Will-O-Wisp's battleships. The satellites are still online, though, so Sailor Moon's keeping them active for as long as he can, though. But the problem is, even with the YOLO dead, Team 1 still has a huge advantage. They can get to more of Team 2's stuff. And, of course, Willow targeted everything that would be more difficult for his forces and his teammates' forces over here to take out. He's taken out this base, and this position. So, really, the only thing he has to take out are these two positions for both Sailor Moon and Winter. And it's really going to come down to, can Team 2 materialize this win in the southern pond? But I don't think they can, because Willow's isolated due to this, body of land that's in their way. What next? He's like, what next? Well, not a whole lot. And now Team 2's player of Ice Bowl gets destroyed by Yassaus, so it's now a 4v3 in favor of Team 1. And we do see that the battleships are getting bottlenecked over here. But again, all it's going to come down to is, can the shields hold? But the shields are, again, like I said, starting to crumble due to all the artillery, and the shields have fallen. The first satellite is going to go down. Oh, the shields pop on, but some of the shots already made it through the shielding. And there it goes. Navy is useless now, says Mui. It pretty much is. It will hold position, but even the cruisers can't reach Willow's base. That's how far they can get to. They can take out some AA coverage, but that's it. Is he going to reproduce? He is going to reproduce the YOLO, because why not? He's sitting at 770-something mass. Team 2 is only sitting at 750 mass. So he himself, Willow, is producing more mass pretty much than the entirety of Team 2. And all the cruisers, all of the battleships, it's only going to be a matter of time before they break through Sailor Moon's position. Another nuke is about to load. If that nuke does land right here, it would be devastating. Bottleneck. Traffic jam. We even see a chicken in here be like, I'm just going to avoid the Navy and just go around. Bottleneck. Bottleneck here for naval forces from Team 1. But that base is essentially gone for Sailor Moon. He's lost his satellites. He's lost his air grid. And his artillery is being wiped out as we speak. T3 strat bombers moving in, trying to do some damage, but all that flat coverage, AA coverage, isn't going to amount to a whole lot. Up them, says Dulaha. And is that nuke? Nuke might load in time, but we do see a large amount of spam outbound from Salty Pepper just to make some sort of move. At this point, instead of sending it this way to the east, he should be sending it north, going after Willow's position, because that's a lot of Zooey outbound. And we see some cruiser missiles inbound for the base here for Winter. So GG, says Willow. Tactical missile cruiser, says Iceball. And there goes the SMD. It's not even shielded. Definitely unfortunate. And that nuke is not going to load. And I think, again, like I said, the writing is on the wall, so I'll speed it up to +1. And it just came down to, essentially, once Willow got control of the Navy in the northeastern section, it was just a steamroll, got the YOLO, killed off a decent amount of Team 2's infrastructure and then just kind of held. Chicken online, Sailor Moon trying to just blitz him down best he can. Sailor Moon being ignored by the chicken, actually, but there he goes. He gets refocused back on, and now it's a 4v2 in favor of Team 1. Leaving Winter, actually now leaving Salty Pepper, the remaining player on Team 2. Winter's like, nah, I'm done. His nuke is gone. It was almost loaded, and he would have gotten a decent amount of units killed if he was able to strike it here, but at this point, it's essentially just game over, unfortunately, for Team 2. For those of you who voted for Team 1, I'm assuming your prediction was right because Team 1 pretty much won, but did you think who would get MVP, got MVP? Who do you think deserves MVP? Salty Pepper is still sticking out. How many Zooey, my friend? 400. 400 Zooey are online here. That is a lot of Zooey, and they're being reduced, not decently quickly, but decent amount, I'd say. And all the battleships are now over here. Everything is gone. Of course, Zooey are on the surface of the water, and a couple of the, actually most of the Yasos have actually come up from the water, which means the Zooey can target them. It was very fun watching one of the weakest units in the game target a unit that shouldn't even be shot at by the Zooey, but of course they emerge from the water. Now we see some Zooey outbound from Spanking Giraffe, so it's just a Zooey war at this point between these two players. We do see in the north, Outreach holding out with his comm. He has T3 online. And just the overflooding of Zooey is inbound. A couple of SACUs are going down. Trying to build some PD to deal with all the Zooey inbound. This is a lot of Zooey. Even Zooey went up north for Willow as well. So it's just the Zooey, 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 and more Zooey here for Salty Pepper. Because he's like, why not at this point? Now it's down to 300. I think I'm going to speed it up to +3 at this point. Yeah, this game is over for Team 2. Nano Repair has been started for Salty Pepper. Does Team 1 know his location? They saw the signature just for a brief moment. There's just a spy plane spinning around over here. So I'm assuming they noticed. Yeah, probably somebody noticed on Team 1. But there's a ground unit. There's a unit down there. Sure, Telly says somebody. Looks like that's Doulaha, so they probably know what's going on. Well, I mean, Salty could be going for Telly, but he's not going to get any work done with it, unfortunately. The entire map is essentially covered, and now we see Dula has actually transported over here and dealt with the rest of the resistance from Team 2 over there. The Zooey numbers are falling quite quickly here. There's no real defense here for Salty Pepper. Chomps on him for sticking it in, though. He's just going to build some defenses and call it a day. We have some gunships inbound here from Willow moving in, and a chicken also moving in as well. Some T1 attack subs trying to take out that chicken, but a tall order for those T1 subs. T3 wouldn't be as bad, but just not really going to happen here. Salty Pepper control Ks. There he goes. GG's thrown in the chat here, and that's the game at 48 minutes and 48 seconds. There you go. Nice little numbering there. Team 1 wins the game. And honestly, I mean, Willow, pretty much because he got triple base or 2 extra bases, that's really the driving force for why Team 1, or at least why he did so well. He had so much eco, scaled it very quickly, went for Nuke, or YOLO, got it, launched it a few times. It was destroyed, to be fair, but the damage was done, especially on the naval department over here to the east. Those battleships, that was it. Once those battleships came into the picture, Team 2's defenses slowly fell, and it was just dominoes at that point. So I think Willow deserves MVP for this game. Let me know down in the comments what you thought of the game, who you thought deserved MVP, or whatever the case may be. Thank you so very much for watching to the end of the video, and please, if you haven't done so already, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching, and I'll see all of you in the next one.